Okay, and then no. So let's say one. Okay, we discussed that in order for us to start building our own simple show, the first thing we need to what take note of is what is um the what the user input, right? The user input. Let me make it small. Let me make it small, right? So we want to take care of what the user input, or let me say handling the user input. So that's the first thing we'll start with, right? So handling the user what input. So this is the first thing we want to what start with. So bear it in your mind that the code we are going to be dealing with, the first thing we have to do is what? Is what handle the user input, right? So if you've not watched the previous sections, you can go back and then watch everything so that you understand where we are coming from. Handling the user input, we can basically say that we will start with reading it, right? So we want to read the what? Let me change this font. We want to read the user inputs. Read the what?
Sorry, I don't know if it's from my side, but you're echoing.
I'm echoing. Okay. Is anyone experiencing that?
No, not really. But you haven't shared your
No.
screen yet, right?
No,
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 no.
You are not echoing, sir.
Wow.
no.
I thought I've actually shared the screen. Wow, I'm very sorry,
But I
guys.
can see your screen.
You
Oh.
can see it.
I
Yes.
can see your screen.
Oh,
I can see your
okay.
screen. Oh.
I'll
Yes.
figure it out here.
So yes, guys,
Yeah.
find something to do because my screen is very visible. Let me see if I can pin it. It's already pinned. Yes, I
It's
think
visible. Okay.
The
Continue.
audio is okay.
yes. Thank you. So please find a solution to that. So we first have to do with what? Handling the what the user input. So the first thing we want to do is what? Let me add something here. Let me bullet it so that would this bullet go here? Um, let's leave it like that. Or let me see. Yes, I can. Let me bullet it with asterisk. So the first thing we want to do is what? We want to read the user input. And in reading the user input, okay, there are a lot of ways we can achieve that, but we are recommended to what strictly use some system calls and functions. And then the one I would say we can use in this reading of the input is what? As I said, in a normal circumstance, we could have used scanf to achieve this result, but let's use what the recommended ones strictly using what
This line.
get line, right? So which is the get line? Thank you. So I think we didn't talk about get line in the previous section, but if you're already here, you know what the get line function does. As you are implementing it, you'll be able to what understand it. And the next thing we want to do is what we want to tokenize what the input we've got. We want to tokenize yes the input. We want to tokenize it, right? So we want to tokenize the input, and then that with that one we will use the string token. And then we didn't talk about string token too in the previous section, but I asked that we go and read through what the function. So if you are here, then I assume you know how we are going to use what the string token to what tokenize the input. So for now, let me say handle the user input, read the user input, tokenize the input. Yes, basically. And then what we want to do is right, we want to after taking the input, what do we want to do? We want to before we search through the path to find it. Yes, so let's say um we loop through uh, the the directories, right? I hope everyone knows why we are looping through the directories to find the executable what file, or let's
Pass.
command, right? Loop through the directory to find the executable file or command. Please, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
good. To find to find executable for command path. Thank you guys for the feedback. So we can say to find the execute command path. Good. I think this is better. And then what you want to do is you want to finally execute the command, right? So today's section is just handling the user's input, and these are what we are going to look at. So we are going to read the user input, we are going to tokenize the input, and then we are going to look through the directories to find the executable file or the command path, right? And then want to execute the command after finding it. So this whole section is about this. If there is anything else, we will look at it probably, God willing, Wednesday or tomorrow. I'll try and find time for everyone. I have a lot of projects to fill. So, but this is the structure. If you're able to get this, then you implement the others like handling inbuilt functions and inbuilt, yes, commands. If you're able to make it through and then time is not fast spent, you treat that one too. So, but I'll not write it for now. Handling inbuilt functions or commands. I'll not write it down now because we are not certain about that. So let's get into code. How do we flip to the next page of this? Okay. No, this is okay. So you let's get to it. So this is my terminal. Let me make it full screen. How do I even do that from here? Restore. But let me just assume everyone can see this, which is true. Everyone can see this. So let me make this a bit bigger. Okay, and let me zoom in.
Sorry, are you using Windows or Ubuntu?
Okay, so I'm using both. This is a virtual machine. Okay, this is an Ubuntu virtual machine on Windows. I use
Okay, so it's
um
the font size is actually small. I can't see it, but
okay,
you can
so
try using Control Shift then the equal to key.
okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes I can.
Okay, thank you very much. So from here, this is a directory, okay, that we are going to brainstorm and then put our works. So I use VS Code for my script, my codes, yes, my script. So let me just open it. But this is basically the terminal or the place or the directory path we are going to be what putting our works. So please, if you're not able to see the VS Code well too, you tell me and I zoom in too. But so let's create. So in any project, in building any C project, what do you guys recommend we do first? Right, we are building a big project, so obviously we need to do something. The first file to create, what file do you guys suggest we create first?
A README file.
The main dot, the header file.
The header file, good. Thank you very much.
The read.
Yes, and the readme, good. So let's start with, okay, so let's create a readme since basically we need a readme too. So readme, the readme is basically is just instructions or how everyone can just use it. So for now we don't really need it. Let's just say this is a readme, right? So let's just say this is a readme. So basically we don't need to concern ourselves much about it. So, and then yes, the header file. We want to create a header file. It can be any name, but it must just have the H extension, right? So you must know that it can be any name, but it must have the H extension. It can be show.h. Yes, basically. So let's start main.h. What is going on? Yes, so we have them here. Good. So we all know how to create a header file. We have to know, if not define, sorry, main.h, main underscore h, sorry. Then we want to define it. Main. I think most of us here know how to do this. So um let me typo. Can everyone see the screen? If you are not seeing the screen, please let me know. And then we want to end it, right? End what? The if. That should make this leave the yes. So, um, what are some of the functions you guys recommend we can use? Let's brainstorm and come up with something, guys. Some functions you think we can, some header files, sorry, we can use in.
Standard input output, then standard library,
Mm-hmm,
then
Unit standard,
mm-hmm,
universal
then
standard.
sys weight.
mm-hmm. Okay, so let me try and write what I've gotten so far. So thank you guys, thank you very much. So we have standard input and output, right? We are going to need that. Please note, we are not allowed to use print f. So, yes, standard library. We want to, yes, and we want to add let me think because of time, I want to try very fast for us to start and then moving on. The universal, well, standard, right? And then we end with our h. So basically, we are going to need string too because we use string tokenization and a lot. We are going to use string a lot. So string dot h. If you don't know what any of these header file does, you can just bring my attention to it and then we talk about it. So let's for the one for now. If you don't know what this is, don't worry. So yes, system types, and then we are going to be needing uh,
Exit.
yes, thank you very much. Right. So, um, I think that's all for now. If there is any we need to what bring, we'll bring it here.
Umetoka class?
Hello,
Mm.
hello. And please, if you are not asking any question or if I'm contributing, I guess you have to just mute yourself. So let's so the next file we are going to be needing is what, guys? What file are we going to be needing again? Hello, we have our header file. What else do we need again?
Okay,
The main dot
the
C.
main file, the main dot C.
Yes, thank you very much. So the main can be, we can name it main.c, or we can just name it, let's name it shell.c for I don't know, for readability. But if you are here, you know that it is our main file, right? A moment. Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you very much. I have to attend to someone. So we have, this is where basically most of our codes are going to. This is the main file, right? And then most of our codes are what, going there. So let's go back to the board. What are we doing? We want to what, read the user input using what, get line. We want to read the user input using get line. So moment. I will not touch on the get line because I assume we all know what get line does. But that doesn't mean if you don't understand anything, you can't ask me. So then, first thing we want to do is to include the header file we've created. If you object, you can say it. So we want to include a header file, right? So yes, and our header file's name is main.h. So we have that one. And then, so this since this is our main file, we want to put the main here. And now let's pass void to it because it's not taking any arguments or, yes, basically parameters or arguments. Yes. So since we will be using the get line, let's start declaring our variables. Right. So let's say we will declare the variables here. So let's say declare variables. And then this is where our variable declarations are going to be. Right. And for now, we need what? The get line what? Variables. So let me write something. Let me type something. How do we go to a new page on this page? Okay, so you just have to zoom down. Wow, that's nice. It makes the board interactive. And so let me write something. So in the use of get line, what is this? Control plus Z is not working here. Wow. How do I break out of this? Delete. Yes. So yes. So we have get line. Please, what does get line return? Anyone to help us? I'm not off. What does get line return? Or who knows the signature of get line? Someone should help us.
Okay, I believe
Uh,
he's going to take the
Is
ball.
that the
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please talk.
Okay, the buff size, and then the standard input.
Okay, so if you have get line, right, it's going to take what? The buffer size and and hello.
The buff first,
Okay,
the input itself, the buff, the
okay,
buffer size, and then the standard input.
right. So for now, yes, she's basically right. So for now, this is what we are going to use to get our users input. So we know that we need what? Um First let me explain this thing to you so that it makes it very easy for you. So let's say this is the buffer size as she said. All right. And then this is what standard input. So as she
Mhm.
said, right. So let me explain something so you
You
know
said
what is
this one
going
is
on
what?
here. Integer, right?
It said
Integer, right? So let me try and explain this to you. This third, is it parameter argument? Okay, let's say parameter. Yes, it's basically a parameter because it has no value. So this parameter is what? The standard input. That is the get line takes what? It takes this is what? Basically the file stream, right? And this file stream is what? It's supposed to be file stream, but the standard input is what? A file stream. So we are taking this what? It means that whatever that we are taking into the what? Into this what? Into this line, okay, is from what? The keyboard. That means it's going to be passed through the keyboard. And then we will save it in this buffer. So this is the buffer size. Basically, we'll give it a size. And then after that, we give it to this. Should I use variable? Yes. We'll give it to this. Right. And then we'll return it. So let me try and implement to make it more easier because but basically this is what it is. This is the signature, the file stream. Right. It can be anywhere. The file stream can be anywhere. Is it a pointer? I think so. But for now, let's try and implement it. So guys, we are going to use this get line to take what? An input from the user. So we are going to say getting users input, right? So getting the users input. We are going to use get line to get the users input. So let's say, and then we are going to store it in a variable. So let's first declare that variable to be. We can say it is what? It is the characters read. It is the characters read from that particular file stream. Okay, and then we are going to save that. We are going to save it. So let's say characters red. Let me just see what I'm typing then. It's equal to get line. Okay, and then we know that we'll be passing it into the what, the line variable. So let's use line. Remember that when you are calling for it, you use ampersand. Okay, you use an ampersand. So, and let's say the size of the what, of the line. So we can use something like we can use length, right? And then we have our standard input. So I think this works fine. This, no, it's ampersand. As I was saying, always reminds an ampersand, and then I have forgotten. So we want to declare the variables. We have line here. So it's a double pointer. So it's a string and then a line. We want to have a line here. For now, let's initialize this to now. Please, the reason why we are initializing it to now is because access any random address. Okay, so we want to dynamically allocate, but you don't want to access any what, random address. That is the dangling pointers. That is why we're setting this pointer to what, and now. So we first have our pointer here. So what we want to do next is what, is our buffer size. So we want to say size underscore t. I think everyone here understands why you're using size underscore t, and then we want to initialize it to 0. Yes. So initializing your variables, especially pointers, and then buffer size is a very good practice for you to start if you already don't do it. So yes, basically we are using this to what, to get the user's input. So this whole line of code, okay, is to get the user's input, right? So let's say um we use this to take the user's input. Okay. So let's go to the board. So we have read the user's input. So we want to tokenize the input, okay, using string talk. So basically what tokenization means is that we want to what, break the string, okay, using a delimiter. It can be space, it can be forward slash, it can be full stop. And then what happens is that after you use it, okay, you're able to break the string, okay, into different parts or tokens. Yes. So so that you can use it, and you see how it plays a very important role in our implementation. So let's say string. So we want to tokenize string tokenization, right? The spelling tokenization. So this is the right spelling. So let me show to you how the word string talk works. So I think I have it here, my C project. Yes. So this is it. Let me V into it first. No, yes, let me V into it. So this is it. Let's say you first declare a character array named string, or let's say you declare a string and initialize it with a given string. Okay. So we have a string here called hello world. How are you doing? All right. So this hello world, how are you doing, is a string we want to what, tokenize. It means that we want to what, break it down, okay, and print or and use it for whatever you want, so into different tokens. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a constant a constant string, okay, which is basically the delimiters, right? So here we are trying to say that whenever it sees what, the comma sign or the comma symbol, it should what, tokenize everything that comes after that. And whenever I see the exclamation mark, to tokenize. So what we are going to get, and then what we want to do is you want to declare a pointer to the character name token, okay, and then initialize it with the first token found in what, string. So it is this. This is basically, this points to the first token or the first string, which is what, from our side we have what, hello, and then so what the reason we are doing this is we want to be able to access each of them individually, and in doing that we use what, a loop, okay. And what that loop does is it's able to what print. We look through the strings or the tokens individually. So let me see if I can run this for us to see the result. I've not run it yet because I was busy. So JCC, should I run it with the flags? No, not necessary. Need to run it with the flags. So let me say, and then yes, drink talk. So let's run it and see. So yes, it prints hello world. How are you? As you can see, it has tokenized each string. So that's basically what we want to do with the users command. And then we want to do it in such a way that in case the user enters a command like, let's say the user enters a command like this, we'll be able to what? Get each input and then separate them from each other and then do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. So I think maybe that is what was dealing with the bug. But either ways, let's continue. We will find out later. So we want to tokenize each and every one of them so that this becomes what? An independent string, and this becomes what? Also an independent string. But basically they are called tokens. So let's move on. I have to get this back. So basically this from the small illustration I've given, right? This is what you're going to do. I assume that most of us know how to what? Tokenize a string. So we first need should I declare them here? Yes, we can. We first need our what? Our delimiter, right? So guys, in our situation, what is the best delimiter do you think we can use in this situation? Please think about it and give me an answer. We'll come to it. We want to hello. So we want to declare a token. Okay, I think someone wants to talk. So which delimiter do you think would be the best for us to use? Hello. Or we are sharing ideas. You don't have to feel shy. You can just tell us what you think. All right, it's
Space. I think we use space.
okay. One person at a time. Please, what did you say?
I said space. Can use space
Okay, we can use
and
space,
comma.
comma. Okay, yes, yes, comma. So let me put this in what? In double quotes so that everyone knows what you're talking about. Yes, basically, yes. We can use space. We can use comma. There are a lot. When you are implementing on you, yeah, eventually we will do it. So we need tab to, we can implement tab. Like when the user enters tab, what should happen or something. Like let's say the user enters a command, getting this. Let's say the user enters a command like, let's say ls, the user enters ls and then presses brings tab, right? And let's see, no, first let's try the comma. Basically, you'd want to do something like this. I think this is supposed to give us an output, right? Or I'm the one. Okay. Okay. So basically, let's stick to that. But I think there's a situation where I don't know if someone can help us. There's a situation where you would use a comma here and it's going to work. No, no. It's going to, I think it's going to print 3 times something. I don't know. I've forgotten it, but we'll get to it. Don't worry. We'll get to it. So let's get back to our codes. So basically, let's start using the space as a delimiter since someone can just enter ls like this and then expect something good. So we'll implement that in our code. Why do I keep closing this instead of just closing this? Implement that in our code. So now let's say if the user has let me use this to implement it. Sorry. Okay, so the perfect example would be if the user enters something like this, okay, so then we want to tell that this one is what? I was explaining that we have to be able to tell which ones are the arguments that are passed to it, the options, right? And then which one is what? The first argument and which one is what? The options. I think I did not do that, so I might have. that one to give me a bag. So basically, let's start with space. So whenever the user enters, we are using this as a delimiter, right? So we have this, and then the reason why we are using space first is because, let me comment it, is because we want to set an empty string as a delimiter. Set an empty. If you know what a delimiter is, then you know why we are using an empty string first. So let's set an empty string as a delimiter, right? And then we have our token. This token is basically what is going to hold the what? The strings, like the individual strings after they've been tokenized. So let's have it here to confuse anyone. So this is basically the declarations for what? The string token. So I think I forgot a very important step, which is what? Printing to the screen. All right. So we want to tell the user that what the shell is active and they can use it. So we want to print to the screen. So let me put it here. If you are watching this live the recorded section, you basically know what we want to what I'm talking about. So we want to print something to the screen, okay? Print to the screen, okay. And then in this case, the best thing to use, we can print something like, let's say we can print shell with a dollar sign to prompt the user that what our shell is working in what they can now type something into they can now type. Basically, when you open the shell, it doesn't just give you an empty space like that for you to start typing. You see that what it is this thing that indicates that what you are at a place you can what type. Okay, good. So that is why we want to. Um, I have to find a way to switch between. I'm new to Ubuntu, so okay, really okay. So let's move on. So we want to print. I think we are not allowed to use printf, right? Guys, you're not allowed to use printf, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes. We are not allowed to use printf. So instead of printf, what can we use? Instead of printf, what can we use here to print?
Right.
Right. Good. So we will use right to achieve this. So in order to achieve this, you have to use right. Have to use the right function. Oh, we've already done 30 minutes. Let me be fast. So you have to use the right function. Please, can anyone help us with the right function? What do we do? Hello? Good. So basically want to write two
Right to standard
in
output.
output. Okay, which is what do we use? Is it this?
No, I think it's number 2.
Okay, so we'll write two here, right? And then
The string we want to write.
the string we want to write. So let's say we want to write show to the screen whenever they want to enter. But I think this one, this I think the standard output comes next, right? So I think the two is supposed to be here, right? Hey,
No,
my software
the
engineers.
the number of characters in the
That one is supposed to be here. So let's say let's count the number of characters. Let's add space to it. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically we put 7 here, right?
yes.
So let's see. I don't know if this one will run, but let's try and see. So
Yeah, are you printing to standard output?
yes, please.
I think two is standard error.
Okay. Okay. So we have one. We have 0, 1, 2, right? 0, 1, and 2, right? So guys,
Yes.
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So which one is standard output?
I think it's one.
Oh,
It's,
huh,
yeah,
that
one
is
is standard
input.
output.
Yes. So two is standard error, right? So let's get back to
Yes.
our notes.
Hmm.
Anyone objects, or you can go.
You can go.
You have zero.
Please refer to your notes.
You have zero as standard input, one standard output, and then
One is
two is
standard
error.
output.
Yes. So basically, yes. So we are good to go. Let's run this and see. Let's say show. Okay, so let's execute it and see if you're having um oh, okay. Sorry about that, guys. So let me quit it. What we want to do is okay, we want to print this before we take the user's input. No one prompted me. So let's print this first before taking the input. So print, let's just name it prompt to prompt the user that what our shell is what active. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. So let's run this and see. Okay, so it's working. It's working. So thank you guys. Good. So let me clear it. So let's move on. What we want to do is next is we want to, yes, we are not done with the tokenization. So let's continue with the tokenization. So for those who did not see when we executed it, this is it. Yes. So basically now we don't expect anything. It's not working now. So basically our shell just what prints a prompt to the screen, which is what shell. And then when the user enters something, nothing happens. So let's work on that. We are using the string tokenization, right? So let's move on. So what we want to do is okay, first what we have to do is okay, the tokenization needs to be in what? A loop or a statement. Because what if the user doesn't enter anything or we are not able to read what the user is entering? So you need to check an error statement. You need to check for an error. Okay. So let's say if characters read, okay. Please, if you don't have anything to say, can you please mute your microphone? Thank you very much. So we say that characters read is equal to -1. I think someone is flipping their book, their notes. Can you please mute your microphone? Thank you. So you want to check if characters read is equal to -1. I think I explained this already. That the reason why when it fails, it returns a -1, right? So then if it is -1, then it means it fails. Then what we want to do is we want to print an error to the screen. Okay. So we want to print an error that error. Let's print for now. I think everyone knows why we are using perl, right? Because that's what we're allowed to use. Or let's say error reading input. So if you're not able to read input, let's just print to the screen that we had an error whilst what reading the input. And we want to return, for now, let's return -1. Yes. For now, let's return -1. We'll come back to this, don't worry. So for now, I want to return negative what? 1. So basically, this declaration needs to go somewhere else. Cut. Okay. So let's bring it somewhere like here, where the declarations are supposed to be. Good. Tokenization. Did we tokenize it? No. Okay. So you want to say that if characters read, okay, returns an error. We want to say that there was an error reading input and return 1. else. So we need to bring an else statement here, okay? Basically, what you're saying is that if you're able to take this what ls, okay, if you are not able to take this ls, we should print error reading input. And if we are able to take it, we should what? We should work on what we've received. And how do we work on that? We work on it by what? Tokenizing it, right? So we want to say we want to process the input using string tokenization. So let's comment it here. How should we say process what? Process input. Process the input using I string talk. I just want everyone to be able to understand when they get back to the school. So let's take the full process the input using string tokenization, right? So let's start. How do we tokenize what? A string. So let's first we declare token, right? So we can say token is equal to what? The string talk of what? Yes. Guys, what are we tokenize? At this moment, which string are we tokenizing? Hello, anyone? At this juncture, which string are we tokenizing?
The one entered by the user.
Yes, the one entered by the user, which we are storing in what? Which we are having in a buffer, and then the pointer to that buffer is what? Line. So we want to tokenize line, right? Thank you very much. So we want to tokenize line, and then we add a delimiter. Sorry. So we have our delimiters. Did we say delimiters? Yes. So basically what is happening is that we are having the user's input here and we're having our space here. At this moment, it's only space. That is what? The delimiter. And we are going to use space to what? To tokenize the user's what? Input. Thank you very much for that. So, okay, so after we process the input using string tokenization. So after this, there is something we want to do. Okay, this is not just the end of what? The tokenization. We want to write a while loop as I illustrated in the other course I showed you, the string talk. We want to write a while loop to be able to iterate through what? The input. So we can, yes, basically the input. We can say while token is not, always make sure you have what? You check your error or your, how do we say it? Your, yes, basically error. If token is not equal to now, okay, it will if token is equal to now, it will return an error. That is, if token is equal to now, it means you don't have anything to work on. But if token is not now, it means that what? It's holding data, it's having a value. So we can work on that value. So we want to write a statement to confirm that what? The string or token is not what? Is not empty. So let's say while token is not equal to now. Please, if you have any objections or if I'm doing something you don't understand, you bring our attention to it. And the next thing we want to do is we want to, so for now, let me say we want to see what the token contains, right? Like what the user typed, we want to see it. For now, let's just display it. So let's say um, somewhere here, tokenizing, we can say we want to display it. So let's say um, tokenize the input lim n. But bear know that it's not part of what we just want to what display and see whatever that is inside if our string tokenization is working. That is why I want us to display it. So let's say so in displaying at this point we will not be using, so we can use printf to display it to make it very easy for us to display. So let's say print f, then our new line, right? Then our semicolon. So while this will not work, while this will not work, but let's see. We said main is returning something, right? Mm. Do we say main is returning something? Yes. So why is our wow having a problem here? What is our problem here?
Space.
Hello?
The space between while and the past parentheses.
No, I can't really hear you.
I think there's supposed to be a in the while statement and the past parentheses.
I can't really get it, but okay. So it
A
says
semicolon before the wow
inserted a
statement.
semicolon. Good. So we should have inserted a semicolon here, which is very important. I mostly forget our semicolon ever since we started our Python. So we have our semicolon here, and then so yes, so this is solve this whole before. Okay, this is not working. We all know why this. Who knows? Will this code run? Will this code run? And
I
why
have
not?
a question.
Okay, ask your question.
Uh, when you are using the product,
You can use the line
you're supposed
with
to
the number.
hello.
Hello, we can hear you. We are listening to you.
Saying when you're using a print function,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're supposed to call the token because you're printing the token.
I didn't get your question well. Please come back again.
When you're printing,
Mm-hmm.
for example, in the while loop, you
Okay.
said print information.
Oh,
So you're supposed to pass
okay.
the token that you're supposed to print.
Wow. Thank you very much. I understand you now. Thank you very much. So we are printing the token. Good. Thank you. So any other mistake? A moment. A moment. Please observe the code and any other um error.
We're not allowed to use printf, but you use printf down there. Will that work?
Okay, yes, we are not allowed to use what printf, but I was saying that we will not use it. Don't worry. I just want to use it to print and display what we have here. So, if how do we say how do I even? I just want us to see what is in the tokenized string to see that if it's working. Yes. So that's why we are using printf. Don't worry, we'll remove it. Okay. Don't worry. So anything else? Anyone else? Okay, sorry about that, guys. There was a bit of noise outside my place, so please, did anyone add any contribution? Are you missing something?
Token is equals to
You said?
after the printf function,
Uh-huh.
we pass the token is equals to string
Good,
tokenization.
good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's what I was expecting. So basically, most of us don't know how to use it, but that is how we want to be able to iterate through the what through the tokens because it can be a long string. Sorry, I want to iterate through. So we basically have to equate what token to what string token, and then always know that the first parameter is now. Then we have our delimiters. Yes, and our what our semicolon. So yes. So that what this one means basically is that okay, after every iteration, okay, token is equal to what basically this is running again. I don't have to explain to you, but after every iteration, a new string is inserted. So it reaches what? A now string. And then it knows that what is empty before. But basically, when you run this line, okay, I think I tested it. The first points to what? It points to the first string. And then the others all continue to be now. So the number of times you what? You call for it. If in case you are printing it, the number of times you print it after every statement, it is updated. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's run this code and let's see if we get what we wanted to do. Okay. Um, why is this thing? It says our token is an integer. Wow, how?
I think you should return 0.
Okay, okay, sure. So thank you very much. So let's return 0 here, right? Oh, why do I always use caps in returning? I don't know. Please, anything else? Um, yes, so it says what? So we have an error here. Comparison between pointer and guys, what do you think would be our error? Why are we having this error? We are comparing, we declared token as what? As a character, and then we are trying to compare it what?
Hello, sorry. Can I say something? I can't actually see the screen again. I don't know if it is from my own end.
Okay, is anyone experiencing the same issue?
Your screen is visible.
Visible, okay. So you might want to do something about that because okay, so basically at this point, I think I would have to pause and then try to if anyone doesn't understand anything. So token is not supposed to be
We
a
are supposed to
It,
initialize
it
token
should be a
as a
token
pointer to
should
a
be a
character,
pointer.
not a.
yes, good. Please, like I didn't hear the guy, I heard the lady, but I didn't hear the guy. Mostly ladies are loud. So hello. The guy said something.
Yeah, I said the token should be a pointer.
Yes, basically. So thank you very much. So it's so it seems yes, we know what we are doing. Thank you guys. So yes. So this basically sums up our what our section in what in the hand taking of what the user input. So our code is working as we can see. When we print what ls to the screen, it does that work. When we enter ls, it takes ls. So let's enter something like this. I don't know. Yes. So our string tokenization is working using what? Space as what? A delim. Delim. Guys, you have to bear with me. I'll just say delim. So it uses what? Space as our delim. All right. And then it prints each on a new line, meaning our string tokenization is what? Is working. Good. So at this point, we've been able to do this and time is very fast and we've done yes. So the next thing we want to do is we want to look through to find them, but before that, any question, anyone confused, anyone wants me to go through something for them? That means we are good to go, right? If you have a question, you have to ask, you have to understand this. If you don't understand this, the rest is going to be very bizarre because we are going we are going somewhere, so you would want to force and understand this, please. So if you don't understand, let us help you understand this before we move on. Okay, I think someone has raised their hand. Please, your question.
I think I'm stuck on where we were using the token.
The
Can you
token.
explain a little bit of yes?
Okay. So please, anyone else? Anyone else with a question? Good. I assume you all understand. Thank you very much for your question. So, what we want to do is, how did I go down the last time? I've forgotten. I think I did some. Okay, it's because I'm writing. So let me just press enter and let me go down. Yes, because I'm writing. So when we talk about string tokenization, okay, if you are here with me, what we are doing is, okay, let's say we have, I am, we have, how should I use to explain? Okay, we we want to, let's say, okay, I want to use an analogy. Okay, we have an army, we have a group of people, so they are basically soldiers, right? And then all these soldiers are unique, right? They all have their unique tags, or let's say their unique, I think soldiers, their ranks, yes, unique ranks. Okay. And then we want to be able to tell each soldier from everyone. In the group, in the collection, we'll call them what? We'll say they are what? They are a group of soldiers, so an army. Yes. So we want to call them an army. Right. So please mute yourself. So we have an army. So what we want to do is that we want to select them individually. So we say soldier one,
Nini yo?
soldier two, then we have soldier three. So at the moment, so what we are doing is that we want to be able to write, or want to be able to basically come up with a mechanism that is able to separate these soldiers individually without calling them a one. We want to identify each and every one of them by their ranks. So what you have to do is that if you have five soldiers grouped, we want to call them individually. Soldier one, soldier two, soldier three, or let's say sergeant, lieutenant. So till we reach what? Till we reach the last soldier. So let's say the last soldier, we will be able to tell the last soldier if we reach the last rank. So let's say if we reach the MP rank, okay, we can say that this is what? The last soldier. That is basically what we want to do. So that is how tokenization is working. I don't know if I can draw. I have not set my drawing part, but let me explain. So basically, this is what is happening. This, we can say this is what? The now, the MP, the last person to tell us that what? We have come to an end of what? Calling the soldiers individually is what? Is the MP. So when you reach the MP rank, we say that yes, we are done calling the what? The soldiers. So, but till we reach the MP, we want to call all the soldiers from their rank, from the highest. It doesn't in any order. All right. So that's what string tokenization does. The army is what? Is a string. Okay. And they want to be able to group all these strings, okay, into what? Different, how do I say, want to be able to group them or collect them individually. So we assume that if you have a string like, let me use our normal English. If you have a string like Kofi, okay, Kofi is a boy. You want to be able to what? Let's say full stop. Kofi is a boy. For those who don't know, Kofi is a Ghanaian name. So we want to be able to group all these words. How many words do we have here? We have four words. Okay, and then we can see that there are some punctuations here, comma and a bracket. So comma and then space and then what? A full stop. So we want to be able to group these words individually so that at the end of the day we can get something like this. So that at the end of the day we can get something like Kofi, and then we can have is, and we can have a, and we can have a boy. So that's what string tokenization is. And then the ideology is that whenever we receive a command, the command can be what? A string like this. A string like this. Right. So we want to be able to tell them apart that this is ls and this is a command. And then so that we can be able to like Kofi is what? Is a subject. And then the is what? I forgot my English. The a is an article. And then yes. So basically what there is, I think it's a verb or something. So basically we want to be able to tell these ones apart. So that is why when the user enters something like um ls, let me clear this terminal. So the user enters something like this. You want to be able to tokenize it and tell the user that what, and tell the shell that what, ls is what, is the command, and dash l is what, the option. Basically, that's what we are using string token to do. So before, so let me, that's what we are trying to implement here. So please mute your microphone if you don't have any question. I'm not saying anything. So that is what we are doing here. Whenever the user enters a command, we take the command with what? Get line. So we've taken the command. If you understand up to here, we can move on. We are saying that if characters read, hello, please mute your microphone for us. I don't know who that is. So we've said that, okay, we have taken the input. After taking the input, we want to see if what there is an error or the input we took. First of all, in programming in C, especially in programming every language, you want to make sure that what you want to consider all possible scenarios in the fact that what if this word we are calling for we don't get, or this soldier did not attend, or so we want to check for exceptions. So the only exception we can have here is if what the user enters something, a word that we are not familiar with, we don't know, we are not able to use, or let's say does not enter anything. We want to print to him that we had an error reading what his input, which means we would have to do it again. And if not, that means if we successfully receive something, we want to operate on it. And the first operation we perform on it is what? String tokenization, to be able to identify each word of the command differently. And then the ideology we have to use is that what mostly it is space that what separates them. So the dilemma is basically like what a separator between the command and the what options. Are we good to go? I was too fast because of time. Please, you understand now?
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
so good. So that is what is happening here. So we are getting the user's input, okay, and then we are performing the operation on it. We are tokenizing it, and then we is the string talk. Okay, this is what is happening. This is the first soldier. Okay, but no, let's say this is the whole army. All right, but it points to the first soldier. So in order to get the others, we need this. All right, and then we will iterate. So after the first soldier, who is next? Second come, third come. Then we'll be arranging them. That is why we are printing it. So when we take the first word, we print it. The second word, we print it till we reach what the last rank, which is what the MP, or let's say a noun. Right. So basically, to reach the noun string or the end of the string, or the collection of strings. Yes, using the word space as a dilemma, we want to print everything. So no matter how many words or commands we type here, it will always wait for the what? The last thing we typed or the end of. No, let me not confuse anyone. So let's say we have ls, mkdir, we have cd, we have e, anything. It basically prints to what? It reaches the end of what? Es. Basically, that's what string tokenization is doing. So that is what we want to do here. So with the absence of no question, we move on to the second thing we want to do. Um, so please go through the codes, check if, let me see, let me add it to my data so that we don't lose track. Let me commit it. Just show those things again. Commit. So say we handled what users input. I think didn't I write an alias for this? I think I did. So why am I even worrying myself to type everything? So basically, let's move on to the next thing. Okay. So now the next thing you want to do is you want to, or should we? Let me not confuse anyone. So we've tokenized it before looping through. I think we can do something before we loop through. Okay. 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 Um, Guys, we are done tokenizing it. Should we go and just find out what is happening, or we can do something? Let's see. Can we continue from here?
I think someone has a hand raised.
Oh, okay. So the person can ask their question. Please, when you raise your hands, I'm not able to see. So please, you can ask your question. Okay. Then I assume no one has a question, and then we can what? We can move on. Right. So let me add this. So before I go on, we want to what? After we tokenize our strings, The next thing we want to do is that we now have what? The string in the form of tokens. So what do we want to do to it? We have our string in the form of a token. Hello guys, what do you want to do with it? After tokenizing our strings into commands, what do you want to do with it? Hello, software engineers. What do you want to do with a tokenized command?
I think it's to execute the command.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Return an
Yes.
array.
So let's try and execute our command. After we found the command, we want to what? Execute the command. Right? And then please take note, we are executing the command after we've tokenized it. Please take good note of what? Of the is there any hands up? I heard some sound. So we are not going to print anything. So let's get rid of this. Instead of printing, we want to what? So I explained that the operation we wanted to perform on the what on the token was that we wanted to print it out. For now, we don't. So I was like, we don't even need it. So basically, that is not what we want to do with our command. We want to execute the command. So right after tokenizing it, okay, the first thing you want to do is, okay, is to, I think we'll handle that later, but let me write it here. Let me write it here. You want to check for inbuilt functions, right? You want to check if the command, right, is what is shall I say function or commands? Command, sorry. Yes. So when you talk about inbuilt commands, in my last section, I explained that inbuilt commands are basically something like, who remembers? Someone should help us. In the last section, inbuilt commands are what?
CD,
CD,
exit.
exit. Good. So we want to write after, but today we are not going to implement it, but I'll comment it there so that when in our next POD section, we can talk about it. So let's say right after here, before we execute the command, that was even before we execute it. Or but let's just indicate it here. You want to check if the command is inbuilt. So if someone enters something like cd, so if you have your code there, you will know that this is where you have to implement if what. Check if the command is what is inbuilt. Please, if you have your code, please make sure it goes here and you'll be very, very what grateful. So we'll come back to it, don't worry. So if it is not what is not inbuilt, so let me know someone will not understand this. Let me write it for, or we will not understand it in our future self is not will not understand it. So here is, let's say here we can, because we'll definitely get back to this code and we need this part. So here we can check if the token is what is inbuilt, is built is built in what command. That is if the shell handles it internally. So we want to say something like, as I type there, we have something like, as our brother said, exit cd and exit. Please forgive me for my, I don't know, but I think I'm good. My typing skills is a bit okay. So then let's say, okay, and let me say, and we want to handle it separately. So let me not end it. Let me just undo, like cd, and then what? And I want to handle it separately. So from today, we are not going to do this, but we will do it. So let's leave the comment there, because when someone enters cd and exit, we don't have to what? We don't have to execute it all. We just have to run right there. We have to handle it internally. All right. So in handle it separately or internally. So we'll get back to this. So let's go to where it is not an inbuilt. Okay. So if it is not an inbuilt, let's say we execute it. Don't worry about that. Our code will still run without it. So if it is not built in, why do I keep on saying are they the same thing? If it is not built in, we what? We let me use caps. Execute. Because I like this part very much. And that is where most of my bugs are also coming from. So the execution of the command is what matters the most. So let's execute. Someone enters ls. Okay, so let's work and execute what? ls. So before we execute,